Welcome back to my conservation studio and this dissertation of French gilding. The Guild adjusted their trade practices during the 18th century to maintain their dominance and to ensure that their products would not be mistaken by those made by any of the ouvriers libres, the outsiders. In 1745, the Guild revived the defunct 17th century regulation requiring workshop visits by a jury of the Guild. Seeking to ensure the high quality of craftsmanship, the jurand, or the jury, made up of 7 men, required the stamping of an approved work with the master's and maker's name. Furniture, frames, and wall panels in 18th century Paris were furnished by the peintre d'heure. The typical gilding workshop had between 8 to 12 benches and had supplies of recutting hooks, pigments, a mortar and pestle for grinding them, brushes, boxes of glue, and gold leaf. Account books of chairmakers indicate that generally a chairmaker worked with several such shops. The price of gilding a set of chairs depended on the richness of the reparoo, and the reparoo was the highest paid craftsman in the Gilders studio. His work alone could represent a third of the cost of a chair, and water gilding that surface often cost as much as a menuisier would make himself. More economical decorative treatments were available. Painting, using pigments in a Ravaskin glue vehicle, cost less than half the price of water gilding. Oil gilding, in which leaf is applied over just one coat of gesso, followed by a coat of shellac and a coat of linseed oil, or mordant with yellow pigment, also was less costly than water gilding, but was far less durable. The best source for the procedures followed by the 18th century gilders is Jean-Félix Watkin, L'Art du Peintre d'Or and Vernicier, in which the author details the 17 steps for water gilding on wood, gives recipes for making glue, and describes the tools. Watkins explains the difference between oil gilding and water gilding by saying that oil is satisfactory for use on church domes, iron fences, and other exteriors, whereas water gilding, having been applied on a ground, has shadow, reflection, burnish, matte, and many nuances unattainable by oil-gilded surfaces. It lives and breathes. It lives and breathes. The following are the 17 steps that he developed. Number 1, wash the wood with water, garlic, and absinthe to kill bugs and to clean and cleanse the wood. 2, apply gesso made with parchment glue, about 8 to 12 coats, periodically sanding between every 3rd or 4th coat. Fill the pores of the wood with a putty made of a thicker mix of gesso and smooth the surface with dogfish skin, preferably one that's 6 to 8 months old. Number 4, smooth the gesso with a wet cloth bound around sticks or with a smooth pumice stone. Number 5, recut the gesso with recutting tools. Number 6, degrease the gesso with alcohol. Number 7, smooth wet surfaces with wet reeds. Number 8, brush on yellow size of ochre pigment in a weak glue size. Number 9, smooth again with reeds to remove brush hairs. Number 10, apply the bowl, 3 coats on areas to be burnished, thinner on matte areas, of course, none in the intricacies. Number 11, rub the bowl with a dry towel so water applied will run under the leaf. Very important. Gild, use cold water with ice cubes in the summer. Change the water every half hour. Gild the areas deepest in the relief first. Wet only where you want to gild, when you want to gild it, and pass water under the leaf that it does not lie flat. Number 13, burnish with an agate stone. Number 14, matte with a light glue size, the entire gilded surface. A fault or spot gild the holidays. 16, apply vermilion or patina, a stain, the color of gilded bronze, particularly in the recesses. Number 17, apply a second matting glue size hotter than the first. An active engraving market influenced the development of carved designs on gilded wood furniture. For it was largely through these engravings and designs that circulated widely among the minutiae. Merchants sold these pages from the books individually or in bound catalogs, having compiled the images from architects, sculptors, painters, and ornamentalists. The ornamentalists were particularly important in this market since they claimed that their images were appropriate for use on any type of object. A marchand mercier, interior decorator, who entered the Parisian market in the early 1740s. Overwhelming, it was putting a new type of commerce into the market. Or another source of designs. Since drawings could not be copyrighted, they flowed freely through the marketplace, and there were many variations on the best known of these. The designs were often used as inspiration for ideas. The selection process consisted of a client looking at several designs and finally settling on one or combining all of them to satisfy specific needs. The minutiae might often make a clay or wax model, and from there he would do a list, making patterns for the individual parts. When the chairs were taken to the carver, he would make a full-size pounce pattern and work from that. The production time for an entire set of chairs was astonishingly a short 2 to 4 weeks, including the finish work.